If you have insulated your van's wheel arches with 50mm Celotex, you are currently looking at one of the biggest nightmares of a van conversion. You have a massive foil covered awkward lump sitting right in the middle of your living space. Celotex is brilliant for keeping the cold out and keeping the heat in, but it has zero structural integrity. If you lean on it with your knees, it's going to dent. If you try and drive a screw into it to mount your finishing, the screw is just going to spin in the foam and it will hold absolutely nothing. Now, if you leave it like this, you have a huge amount of dead, unusable space that will dictate and ruin the rest of your layout. Today we are fixing the problem completely. I'm going to show you exactly how to box in these wheel arches perfectly using materials you probably already have lying around. And later in this video, I'm going to share a 25-year joinery secret that will make the joints of these boxes virtually unbreakable, along with a massive beginner mistake that traps moisture and causes mold. But first, we need to build the structure. Right now, I am deep into the subscribers build for Perry's Peugeot Boxer. Now, I've spent a quarter of a century in the joinery trade, starting in a dusty workshop when I was about 15 years old. And the absolute golden rule of carpentry is do not waste good material. Now, with the price of timber consistently going up, throwing away good offcuts is basically throwing your cash away. Now, when we laid this floor in the van a few weeks ago, I made sure that I kept all the heavy duty CaberDeck flooring offcuts. Instead of chucking them in the skip, I'm going to repurpose them today to build a bomb-proof box. Now, a lot of builders make the mistake of building a bulky timber frame or batten structure around the wheel arches. Now, I'm not going to do that. First of all, building timber battens down there will just eat up valuable internal floor space, making your van feel much more narrower than it actually is. And more importantly, driving screws into or around the wheel arch creates potential holes where damp and moisture can wick up from the road and rot your build from the inside out. So instead, thanks to my years of trade experience, I simply just glue the insulation on and then glue the CaberDeck flooring panels directly in place. Now, I know for a fact this works and it will never come off, and it keeps the footprint slim, leaves zero holes for damp and creates a rock solid enclosure. Now, our goal here isn't just to hide the insulation, it's to create a rock solid mounting structure. Now, Perry hasn't finalised any finishings yet. He might want to cover these in some 4-way stretch carpet, or he might actually want to clad them for that cabin feel, or he might even want to mount the bed frame directly on top of them. But using these flooring offcuts will give him a heavy duty versatile base. Now, living full time in my own 2014 Vauxhall Vivaro van for the last 4 years, I know firsthand that these low level areas take an absolute beating. You kick them with your heavy duty work boots on, you drop heavy gear on them, and they do take the brunt of everyday van life. Now, when I'm chilling in the back playing Ark Raiders on the PlayStation, the absolute last thing I want to hear is squeaky cabinetry every time I shift my weight. So step 1 is constructing the direct bond box. Because the Celotex is taped and sealed, we are bonding straight onto the foil faced insulation using some high strength construction adhesive, locking our CaberDeck panels nice and tight. There are no screws piercing through the wheel arch metal, meaning there's zero risk of damp or water tracking into the cabin. Now, while we're working on protecting the inside of the build, let's talk about protecting the entire investment on the outside. When you pour hundreds of hours and thousands of pounds into a conversion, the thought of someone damaging your van or trying to break into it is a constant nightmare. Now, that is exactly why I never park or drive without my Viofo dashcam running. It shoots in incredibly crisp 4K resolution, which is brilliant for grabbing road trip footage for YouTube, but its real value is the absolute security. The Viofo has a highly advanced built-in parking mode. Now, if someone bumps your van in a tight supermarket car park or tries to mess with your doors while you're sleeping on the inside, maybe you might be away on a hike, the camera automatically wakes up and records everything. It gives me total peace of mind when stealth camping in unfamiliar areas or leaving expensive tools or gaming gear inside the van. Don't wait until it's too late. So click the link in the description and grab the exact Viofo model that I use. It helps support the channel and it is the best security upgrade you can make. Back to the joinery. With our adhesive locked in, we can start cutting the CaberDeck flooring offcuts. Front and the back pieces are simple rectangles, which is easy enough, but the top piece requires a bit of scribing. Now, this is where a lot of beginners panic. The walls of a Peugeot Boxer curve aggressively as they rise, so you need to transfer the exact curve onto a flat board. Now to do this, push your offcut as close to the wall as possible. Place a small wooden block flat against the van wall. Put your pencil onto the outside edge of the block and slowly trace it along the contour of the van, transferring the exact curve onto the offcut. Now if you are a bit nervous about cutting your expensive material right away, make a template out of cardboard first, and once you're happy with the line, you can just set a track saw up and cut straight lines, and or use a jigsaw to follow the Scribe curve. Always use a fine tooth blade when cutting laminated flooring offcuts to avoid chipping the top layer. Clean, crisp cuts mean tight joints, and tight joints means absolutely zero squeaks or friction when you're driving on those bumpy roads. Remember that 25-year pro tip I mentioned earlier for making unbreakable joints? Well, here it is. When joining two offcut panels at 90-degree angles from corner to corner of the box, do not drive your screws directly into the end grain without prepping it first. Now, because this is composite material, driving a screw straight into it will cause the board to split, bulge, and probably completely crack, and that will ruin the strength of the box. So always drill probably around a 3mm pilot hole first, then run a generous bead of high grab wood glue along the entire length of the seam before driving your screws home. Now the screws act as a mechanical clamp holding these pieces tightly together while the glue sets. Now once that glue cures, the joint becomes virtually unbreakable. You can stand on it, jump on it, and it will not move. Building out this Peugeot Boxer for Perry is a great reminder of just how overwhelming the layout and measurements can be. The walls taper, the ribs are in awkward places, and figuring out the exact dimensions can take weeks of trial and error. So many of you message me constantly asking for the exact dimensions, my cutting lists, and my framing layouts for the Boxers and relays and Ducatos. Now this is exactly why I took my 25 years of joinery experience and put it all into a step-by-step Peugeot Boxer Conversion Blueprint. It is an absolute digital cheat code that walks you through exactly how to frame, insulate, and build out one of these exact models without making an incredibly costly mistake that ruin most beginner builds. It covers everything from dealing with awkward ceiling ribs, building squeak-free bed frames, and securing cabinets properly. Instead of second guessing your cuts, watching hundreds of different tutorials and wasting expensive timber, you can grab your blueprint for just $19.99 using the link in the description below. It costs less than a couple of coffees and will literally save you hundreds of pounds in wasted material and endless hours of stress. So grab it right now and start building with confidence. Now we fit the top piece into place. Because our back edge was scribed perfectly onto the wall's contours, it drops in completely flush without any forced gaps, bonded straight to our installation setup. Now if you have put any screws in here at this stage, make sure you countersink every single screw head in the assembly box panels. Now this is a vital step, because if a screw sits even a fraction of a millimetre proud of the wood, it will show through the stretch carpet or the vinyl wrap like a sore thumb, and it will completely ruin the professional finish. Countersink lets us skim over the screw with a little bit of filler, sand them completely smooth, and leave Perry with a flawless, perfectly flat surface. By using these flooring offcuts, we take highly durable material that was designated for the bin and built heavy duty functional structure over a really awkward wheel arch with zero extra cost. We didn't compromise the thermal seal, we didn't try and drill any holes into the wheel arch for the damp to rise through, and we didn't waste valuable internal width with bulky timber battens. Just listen to this, that is rock solid. There is absolutely no flex, no squeaks, and complete thermal insulation is preserved underneath. Perry now has a completely square heavy duty base ready for anything he wants to throw at it. Having a solid wheel arch box is a massive step forward, and it's completely useless if the rest of the build isn't executed in the exact same standard. To see how I tackle the next crucial stage of the van conversion without making rookie mistakes, click the video on the screen right now. I'll walk you through the exact process step by step. Click right now and I'll see you over there.